Hello there, students. I invite you to look at my eyeball. Look at my eyeball. Look at it. Look at my eyeball. Oh, no, come. Most of you are hiding under the table right now because you're saying, I want to look at Metelgen's gross old eyeball. Oh, that's horrible. And I thought that was the case. So I said to myself, even though this video is about eyeballs, I can't really use an eyeball, certainly not my eyeball, as a model for this video. Otherwise, I'm going to lose a lot of viewers. So anyway, what I brought along was this little gizmo. It's perfect. Yes, it's perfect. It's perfect because you've already seen one or two of these in our other videos. What is it? Well, it's a lens. It's actually rather a large lens that fits on the front of one of my larger old cameras. So I chose this large one because it'll show you something very special in rather a large format. Now, how does this lens work? Well, of course, it goes on the front of the camera. It blocks the light until it's time to take the image. You set it with that spring, and then the firing button is over here. You fire that with your finger or with a special cable release. Did you see that? The little shutter opened up and let some light in and closed right back up again. That was actually 1/100th of a second you just saw. So that was a very, very tiny, quick flash of light, or it was supposed to be 100th anyway. This lens is a bit old. I think it might be a tiny bit on the sticky side. If it was a bit longer than 100th of a second, it wouldn't surprise me. Now I'm going to move the lens opening selector over to T. And there's a reason for that. I'm going to show you that in a second. I've just set that shutter again. And now I'm going to fire that lens there. Great. Perfect. Now I've got the lens open. I've got it on a special setting. It's not going to close until I hit that little button again. So it's fully open. There we go. On the bottom of the lens is this control right here. It's called the f-stop for those of you who like photography. I'm going to slowly slide that f-stop, and I want you to see what's happening inside that lens. Do you see it? Do you see it? Do you see it? Do you see it? Oh, it's fantastic. Oh, look at that. Isn't that incredible? I've closed what the photographers would say is the iris, which is the special light blocking function of this lens. It's quite beautiful. I wonder if I can focus in and I'll show you how it works. It's a bunch of, there it is there. Oh, it's so beautiful. It's a bunch of little tiny pieces of metal, all curve shaped, that all come together. And they all together make that circular shape, which then blocks out the light. I can open that back up again. The little pieces of metal retract. Just a moment. Let me get my finger on the right thing. Oh, there it is right there. Okay, they retract and they open back up again. There it is right there. Amazing. And once again, if I slide it, they'll close right back up. Here they come. Closey, 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 close. Oh, what a beautiful design. Isn't that incredible? Now you might say to yourself, well, that's crazy. Why make a beautiful glass lens or two or a bunch inside there and then close it all off so the light can't get through it? Ah, wait a second. The light does get through it. You just saw a moment ago that tree was upside down, which means, and I've showed you that on different videos too, where the image comes through at an angle and actually flips over and then is collected and shone again properly by the lens, which means I really don't need that whole piece of glass in all cases. What I do need is the center. The center of that glass, where the image flips over. I need the center. If I block the center, the lens is blind. If I block the center of my eyeball, I'm blind too. But I can slowly make the hole for the light to go through smaller and smaller, as long as I keep the center open for the image to flip over. Now, what that lens just did in my hand a moment ago, your eye does automatically. Now, when I said, look at my eyeball, what I really could have showed you was that is happening inside my eyeball automatically. If I walk inside the house, my iris inside my eye opens up about like this. If it's time for beddy bar and I'm walking from the bathroom to my bed and the lights are off, my eye is fully open, just like that. But if somebody turns on the light, oh, gee whiz, my eye will automatically dial down. the iris and prevent the light from coming in, right? So my eye is automatically and continuously, I should hold it up like that. My eye is automatically and continuously adjusting to make sure that my eyeball gets the right amount of light. All right. Now you might say to yourself, okay, I think I've seen that before. I mean, when I look in the mirror, I can see that little sort of round part in my eye, the colored part, and it does change shape in some cases, right? And I've noticed when I've been like looking at somebody else's face on a really bright sunny day, the hole inside the middle of their eye does look smaller. That's obvious. And of course, the opposite, on the darker room, it looks larger. So that does maybe sound familiar to you. But the question is that really that important a thing? I mean, do we really need that so badly? And the answer is, yes, you do. You need that little device inside your eye, your iris, terribly badly. And here's why. Because the amount of light your eye has to process changes so incredibly. You wouldn't believe it. I mean, I'm sitting outside right now on a beautiful sunny day. I am just floating in the light. There's such bright, the sun's right up there. So I have all kinds of light available to my eye. Too much light, as a matter of fact. If I let all of that light into my eye, I would burn my eye up completely, and I would be completely blinded if I let all that light in. So right now, I am actively shutting that down. The reason why you maybe can't understand so easily that effect is true is because your eye has been working automatically like that for your whole life. And you say, yeah, I know. When I walk inside the house, it's a little darker than it is outside. But it's not that much darker. It's that much darker. It is. It's incredibly different. And the only way to really figure that out is to use an instrument. And so I've brought along an instrument which is going to show you that what I say is true. Here it is right here. Now, I just love things that come in leather cases like this, especially leather cases with a snap. If you ever see at a garage sale or a thrift shop, something in a leather case with a snap, you're wise to buy it, because almost everything that comes in a leather case with a snap is something beautiful, especially something made back in the 50s, which is what this was. Usually the best quality of things came in a leather case with a snap on the bottom. So anyway, enough talking about old stuff, although you know I love old stuff. Here it is right here. Isn't this a beautiful little device? It's gorgeous looking, isn't it? What is it? It's a light meter. It is a light measuring device. Okay, it's got all these crazy numbers on the front, and it's got this sliding scale, and it's got several different slide rule type rotary devices here. It's very complicated. I will not show you all that. I barely understand it myself. What I do know is that the really important stuff is on the top and right here in the scale. Okay, now I'm going to press this little button on the side and flip this open, and that shows you something important. Okay, oh, look at that. I just love that. Doesn't it remind you of the eyeball of a fly? Isn't that so beautiful? It's that crazy piece of cast glass, and that crazy piece of cast glass is cast into that sort of like little honeycomb of magnifying glasses. So beautiful. The honeycomb of magnifying glasses is because underneath the center of each one of those magnifying glasses is a little thing called a photocell. It's actually a light-sensitive semiconductor, a resistor actually. You'd have to be an electronic wizard to understand really how it works, but the point is, it's a little tiny device that is sensitive to light, and when light shines on it, it changes its electrical faculties, and it actually, in this case, generates some power or stops the resistance of the power that's generated by something else. Okay, what that means is it shows you how much light is there, because if you put a lot of light down into those photocells, it will show you that there's a lot of light there, and then if you put a little bit of light into them, it'll show you a little bit of light is there. Okay, now it's got a lid with a crack in it. Well, why the lid with a crack in it? And that is super, super important. Do you remember I said a moment ago that there's a monstrous difference between the amount of light outside on a sunny day and the amount of light inside your house on the same day. You think, oh, well, it's a little bit darker. It's not that much darker. Huge difference. This machine will show that. When you're outside, this little light meter is intended to be used in the closed setting, just like that, which means the only light that gets inside to those little magnifying glasses comes through that slit. If I were to walk out into that sunny patch with this open, I would blow this thing sky high and probably destroy it, right? There's so much light, you have to basically block most of it, 80 or 90% of it, and just let it go through that little tiny slit. Okay, well, if we do that, what's going to happen? Well, I'm going to show you that in a second. Even before walking into that sunny patch, I'm going to show you, the meter is showing us that there is some light. Look, it's coming up on the 1.4 line, right? If I cover over that slit entirely, it's back down to 0. See the little red needle? I take my finger away. Oh, look, it's up to a little bit more than 1, almost 1.4. Okay, so there's a little bit of light here. Oh, that's good. Not much, but I guess when the trees were moving, I got a bit of sun over there. See that? How amazing. Now I'm going to stand up and I'm going to walk toward that sunny patch. And as I get to the sunny patch, you'll see, even already, I'm just approaching that sunny patch. Look, it's between 1.4 and 2 right now. I'm going to keep on walking. Oh, well, look at that. Oh, it's incredible. What a difference. And now, I'm in the sun. Good grief. See that? I walk into the sun and I focus it at the sun. It's up to 6.3. It was 1 when I was sitting back down there on that crazy little swing. 6.3 is a whole pile of light. Now remember, that's closed up. The only light coming in through that crack, the only sunlight coming into that machine is coming through that little tiny crack. If I press the button on the side and flip that open, like I said, I would likely destroy this. I would do damage to that poor little needle and almost ruin it. Let me get closer. Okay, 6.3. Now I'm going to try to focus it right at the sun. Okay, now I'm out in the sunny area, and I've got it focused almost exactly at the sun as it's up in the sky. And as you can see, it's just shy of 8. Wow, that's incredible. Okay, now we know what this meter can measure outside on a sunny day. Now, in the shade and also in the direct sunlight. Now I'm going to stop the video for a second, go inside the house. Days ago. So here we are back in the hallway with the lights on. They're fully lit. All of them are on. And here we are with our light meter. Now I'm going to look back down at the light meter. I'm going to see how much light's actually, what? What's wrong? Is it broken or something? Has it just busted? It's showing barely even 1. It must be wrong. Do you remember? I mean, when I was outside, it was like up to 1.4 when I was in the shade. And when I went out into the sun, it was almost 8. Oh, but it's not busted, remember? It's closed up for outside. Now, I'm going to have to open this up and make that light collecting area about 50 times bigger. Oh, now I get some light in there. What does it say now? A little bit more than 2, but close to 3. What? Is it broken again? I'm right underneath the light. What's happened is, since I've walked inside the house, and there's, of course, a lower light condition, my eye has opened up significantly, right? Because my eye has opened up significantly, it looks quite bright to me, even though there's hardly any light inside this room right now. You can see it. I've got this baby cranked open. Even then, it's only up to about 2.8. Let's try some other rooms. Here we are down in the basement, remember? I showed you these things a few days ago too. There's the old fireplace and our mantle. Now there's some light coming in the window over here. It's not so bad, right? I can see. The camera can certainly see. Here's my light meter. How much light is inside here? Well, according to the needle, there is, 0. I've still got it closed. What a dum-dum. I'll flip it open to the indoor setting. There, right there. That's going to change it big time. And now what does it say? What? Still 0? Wait a second, what's going on? Well, it's fluttering a bit, but hardly at all. What if I turn it over this way a little bit more toward the light? Oh my goodness, there it is. Do you see it? It's up to 1. That's with this wide open, which means there's only a number 1 amount of light inside this room right now, which means there's really very, very little light at all. Which means your iris is doing an incredible job of adjusting for the amount of light that comes into your eyeball when you go into a darker room, opening up, and when you go into a brighter area like outside on a sunny day, closing right down. And once again, it's doing so without you even knowing it, keeping your eye healthy and safe and keeping you seeing what's in front of you. And it's amazing too, because sometimes it takes a little instrument to actually prove that that's the case. It's not intuitive. We can't notice it. That's how amazing our bodies are. So I hope you've enjoyed it.